Yorker published an anonymous account of allegations September the 14th. 2 days later, Dr. Ford identified herself as the victim in the Post article detailing her allegations. I immediately directed my staff to investigate. September the 17th, Dr. Ford's counsel went on several television shows requesting that her client have an opportunity to tell her story. The same day, I scheduled a hearing for Monday, September the 24th, giving Dr. Ford a week to prepare her testimony and come to Washington, D.C. On September the 17th, committee investigative staff reached out to Dr. Ford and Judge Kavanaugh to schedule follow-up interviews with Republican investigators. Judge Kavanaugh accepted the opportunity to speak to the investigators under criminal penalty. Dr. Ford declined. In his interview on September the 17th, Judge Kavanaugh denied the allegations and requested a hearing as soon as possible. Democratic staff refused to participate in that interview. The next day, September the 18th, committee investigative staff contacted Mark Judge requesting an interview. Committee staff also learned the identity of 2 other alleged party goers and requested interviews. Mark Judge submitted a statement under penalty of felony, denying knowledge of the party described by Dr. Ford, and states that he never saw Brent in the manner described by Dr. Ford. And I can go on and on about that, but
no shit.
We got to realize that what we have done in this case, all the time, you go through a background investigation by the FBI, then it comes to us, and there's always some holes in it that we have to follow up on. And besides,
Mr. Chairman,
we're responding to
try to stop him.
Dr. Ford's request to tell her story. That's why we're here.
Mr. Chairman.
No, don't try to stop him.
Miss Mitchell, go for
Mr. Chairman, I just want to point out that to support what Senator Whitehouse said, in the Anita Hill case,
Can we hear from Dr. Ford?
Yeah.
George Bush ordered that the investigation
Shut the fuck
be
up.
opened again.
Miss Mitchell, will you proceed for Senator Lee?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Dr. Ford, the Washington Post reported in their September 16th article that you did show them therapist notes. Is that incorrect?
I don't remember physically showing her a note.
Okay.
Perhaps my counsel did. I don't remember physically showing her my copy of
Listen
it.
how she's look, she's a professor of psychology in California. You know she's a rigorous leftist. Listen how she's talking so kid-like. So I don't remember.
Okay.
But I just don't remember. So I'm sorry. I have retrieved a physical copy of those medical records.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're a liar.
You also attended individual therapy. Did you show any of those notes to the reporter from the Washington Post?
Again, I don't remember if I showed her like something that I summarized or if I just...
Yeah, it's something that I just made up, or I theorized about it, but maybe I memorized it. I don't know. God, this is so stupid. Vote him in.
Spoke about it, or if she saw it in my counsel's office. I don't know for sure, but I certainly spoke with her about it.
All right. This bitch look, they knew about this since July. Dianne Feinstein knew about her accusation since July. So since July, they've went back and redacted all of her yearbooks because her yearbooks show a bunch of slutness, a bunch of her pictures of her laying down on a picnic table, drunk as fuck around beer bottles, her fucking other guys, slutty remarks about who she's had sex with. This girl's a slut. She's a slut, and now she's a professor in California. A professor. They're always left-leaning Marxists. And now she's I don't remember. Hey, why did you wait? First of all, they said she didn't want it to become public. If she didn't want it to become public, why did she not send her complaints to the police department? Now they want an FBI investigation. No, she sent it to the Democratic Party. She didn't send it to the FBI. She didn't send it to the local police department. She sent it straight to the FBI. Huh.
2013 record with the individual therapist.
And Brett Kavanaugh's name is not in those notes, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. In reading the Washington Post article, it mentions that this incident that we're here about contributed to anxiety and PTSD problems with which you have struggled. The word contributed, does that mean that there are other things that have happened that have also contributed to anxiety and PTSD?
I think that's a great question. I think the etiology of anxiety and PTSD is multifactorial. So that was certainly a critical risk that we would call it a risk factor in science. So that would be a predictor of the symptoms that I now have. It doesn't mean that other things that have happened in my life would make it worse or better. There are other risk factors as well.
So have there been other things then that have contributed to the anxiety and PTSD that you suffered?
Well, I think there's sort of biological predispositions that everyone in here has for particular disorders. So I can't rule out that I would have some biological predisposition to be anxious type person.
What about environmental?
Environmentally, not that I can think of.
Okay.
Certainly nothing as striking as that event.
Okay.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
In your interview with
That's
the
why you look
Washington
down.
Post, you said that you told your husband early in your marriage that you had been a victim of, and I quote, physical abuse. In your statement, you said that before you were married, you told him that you had experienced, quote, a sexual assault. Do these two things refer to the same incident?
Yes.
And at either point on these two times, did you use any names?
No.
Okay. May I ask, Dr. Ford, how did you get to Washington?
Thank you.
In an airplane.
She got to Washington in an airplane. Look, she stalled this, all right? She had a set date to come see them. She didn't come see them on that set date. They're trying to stall to prevent Brett Kavanaugh from being placed. All right, he's going to be placed. No matter this bullshit or not, he's going to be placed. She tried to say she was afraid of flying, even though she had flown to Hawaii to go do her professorship or whatever she has to do over there. She has to teach people over in Hawaii. What did she do? Did she ski over there? Did she take a boat? No, she took an airplane. All right, so she said that, I'm afraid of flying, so I have to drive. So it'll be another 4 days for them to sit here and make up all this bullshit, all their allegations. It's bullshit.
Because it's been reported by the press that you would not submit to an interview with the committee because of your fear of flying. Is that true?
Well, I was hoping that they would come to me, but then realized that was an unrealistic request.
It would have been a quicker trip for me.
Yes. So that was certainly what I was hoping, was to avoid having to get on an airplane, but I
can't stand this bitch. I swear to God. First of all, she's a psychological professor in California, so you know she's a rabid leftist. And listen to how she talks. All right, her strewn out, the pictures that I've seen in her yearbook of her strewn out, passed out with beers all over her on picnic benches, and you want me not to believe that she's a slut? Are you kidding me? Brett Kavanaugh did not do any of that. Are you kidding me?
was able to get up the gumption with the help of some friends and get on the plane.
When you were here in the mid-Atlantic area back in August, end of July, August, how did you get here?
Also by airplane. I come here once a year during the summer to visit my family.
By airplane, because I'm not afraid of flying airplanes.
I'm sorry, not here. I go to Delaware.
Okay. In fact, you fly fairly frequently for your hobbies and to fly for your work. Is that
your shit's falling apart, bitch?
Unfortunately.
You were a consulting biostatistician in Sydney, Australia. Is that right?
I've never been to Australia, but the company that I worked for is based in Australia, and they have an office in San Francisco, California.
Okay.
I don't think I'll make it to Australia.
It is long. I also saw on your CV that you list the following interests of surf travel, and you, in parentheses, put Hawaii, Costa Rica, South Pacific Islands, and French Polynesia. Have you been all to those places?
Correct.
By airplane?
Yes.
And your interests also include oceanography, Hawaiian and Tahitian culture. Did you travel by air as a part of those interests?
Correct.
Thank you very much.
Easier for me to travel going that direction when it's a vacation.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, thank you.
All right, guys. All right. So she's not afraid to fly airplane, it seems. It seems not that she's afraid to fly airplanes. She's good. She loves getting sprawled out on tables, on picnic benches, with beers all around her in her yearbook. And Dianne Feinstein actually had talked to her in July about all this stuff. It's funny that she sent all her, everything that she had sent was over to Dianne Feinstein, all right? Why did she not send them to the police or the FBI? Why is that? She didn't send them to the police. She didn't send them to the FBI. Dianne Feinstein in July. She sent them straight to the Democratic Party. I wonder why that is. Do you see how she acts and like how she's like a little girl like that? Yeah, she's not that. All right. Well, from July until now, when she says that she didn't want it out in public, she didn't want it in the public domain, which means she should have went straight to the police. But no, in July she sent it over to the Democratic Party. From July until now, they redacted every single one of her high school yearbooks. They had beers. They said how they liked drinking. I don't know how it was let, because maybe she's from an elite school where they allow alcohol to be in place in pictures and stuff, and how they say they like daiquiris and all such. They redacted all of her high school yearbooks from that point in time. You can't find them now. I wonder why that is. Maybe because she was a slut. She liked getting trains ran on her. I don't know. I'm not sure. All I know is she's a leftist college professor in psychology in California. All right. With that, I'm going to watch the rest of this. Born a Hawkeye, out.